inconsequential. Foul, belligerent gods, ascendants of the feeble, cursed the supple flesh and mind. Embrace the infinite void. Improbable, but inconsequential. Sacred fire of the mother soul, you are called upon. Insignificance, this is the legacy of humanity. Acquiesce, mortal.
Enough!
You are not long for this world. The mother soul.
Surely this will make a difference.
Greetings, Exile. It's me, the guy who makes off-meta trash builds that nobody asks for. Bring you the first real update for my league starter, the FaceBreaker Titan. I know, this update is a little late, but I wanted the build to reach a state that I was actually happy with before showing it to you guys. And as you already saw from the Arbiter fight, the build seems to be performing quite well. I was just level 85, didn't even have my 4th ascendancy yet, and still managed to easily get the job done. We have quite a bit to talk about. So let's start with a little backstory. You see, I league started full of optimism, but there was only one thing on my mind. FaceBreaker, FaceBreaker, FaceBreaker. The only voice that echoed in my head. So every piece of gold I found, I immediately gambled it all away in hopes of getting them. But all of it was futile. I even checked trade, which only made me disgusted. Disgusted by the fact that how unbelievably poor I was. The only thing that I longed for was FaceBreaker. Even while getting pummeled into submission by Jamandra again and again, the only thing I could think about was FaceBreakers. Even while on a date with the lovely lady, the only thing on my mind was FaceBreakers. It generally felt like that I was cheating on her with a pair of gloves. With every passing second, my obsession with FaceBreakers grew stronger and stronger, but they were nowhere in sight. It seemed like that all hope was lost. But then, something magical happened in Act 4. Through the power of friendship, I finally managed to acquire the gloves, and now it was time for the real game to begin. I wanted to experience the FaceBreaker in its full glory, so I rerun the entire campaign from start once more, pummeling everything into the ground with just our bare fists. This time, I was the one handing out the beatings. This time, Jamandra was easily put into submission, and even the lovely lady received some much-deserved fisting action. And that concludes our little backstory. So let's return to the present. But before we do that, I want to clear up a few misconceptions people have regarding FaceBreakers. The first one is that FaceBreakers are a drop-only unique. This is not true at all, as you can actually chance up stocky mates which has only one unique outcome, which is FaceBreakers. Now whether you actually get them is a completely different story, because the weightage behind them is another matter entirely. The second misconception is that you can scale FaceBreaker using one-handed weapon or mace knots. This is completely false, as FaceBreakers have the same limitation as Hollow Palm does for quarterstaff skills. So those weapon-specific knots will have no effect at all. The third misconception is that you need to have FaceBreakers equipped while defeating bosses in order to gain damage. This is not true at all. You see, FaceBreaker damage updates retroactively, so the moment you equip the gloves, they immediately gain damage based on how many camped bosses you have already defeated. The fourth misconception is that the only way to scale FaceBreaker's damage is through strength stacking. This is partially true, but only partially, as you still need to maintain a healthy balance between strength, increased damage, and flat physical damage. Strength stacking mainly provides more damage multipliers, but to take full advantage of that scaling, you still need solid sources of flat physical damage and increased damage as well. So in short, don't go all in on strength stacking while ignoring everything else. Lastly, this one really isn't a misconception, but I think it's worth mentioning. You see, you can corrupt FaceBreakers to increase the damage gain per boss defeated and even reduce the strength scaling from 5 strength down to 4 strength for 25% more damage. Together, this corruption can provide close to 50% damage increase. The only problem is that a pair with both these modifiers is going to be insanely expensive. Now, let's get back to the main topic and talk about the current state of the build. I think the build is in a pretty good spot right now, as I'm comfortably clearing up to tier 14 maps and I've barely spent any currency on the build. If you take a look at the gear I'm using, you will notice that almost all of it is extremely cheap. So this build can be put together very easily even in SSF. Just good luck with finding the FaceBreakers. The mapping and bossing combos also remain mostly unchanged. For mapping, we simply jump into packs with Leap Slam and bonk everything with Bone Shatter for clear. For bosses, the combo is also pretty much the same. First, we break the boss armor with Armor Breaker. Then, we jump on them with Leap Slam to prime them for heavy stun. After that, we bonk them with Bone Shatter and pop our Seismic Cry. And lastly, we do some fisting with Fist of the Gods while rolling all over their face with Rolling Slam. There have been a few changes to the support gems though. First, Armor Break is now supported by Urok's Smelting, which causes enemies to take increased damage every time we break their armor. I am also experimenting with Fist of Kalgor on Rolling Slam, as it currently seems to be the best option available. It grants 20% extra physical damage, which is effectively 20% more physical damage, which also produces a damaging aftershock. Lastly, I have started supporting Hammer of the Gods with Bleed 3, as bleeding currently provides largest damage increase for this skill. And to push this even further, Mace Strike is now supported by Rupture support, which allows us to aggravate the bleed, which effectively doubles our bleed damage. Overall, the build is performing great for the amount of investment we put into it so far, and going further it should only get stronger and stronger. Speaking of further, let's talk about my future plans for this build, and what can you expect in the next update. The first thing I want to improve is the clear potential. Right now, having to Leap Slam in every pack to prime enemies for Bone Shatter can get a little hectic. So I'm planning to add Wind Dancer to automate this process, which will make mapping feel much smoother. I will also figure out a way to reach 100% bleed chance for Hammer of the Gods without relying on Bleed 3 support, as that would free up a support slot and allow us to add even more damage to the skill. Another thing I'm planning to test is the weapon swap setup using Brianhart's Mark. The idea is to use it specifically to boost the stun build-up of Leap Slam, but this will require a bit more testing before I can say whether it's actually worth it. Right now, we are just level 85. For the next update, you can expect the build to be around level 95, which means we will have a lot more passive points to work with and plenty of room for further optimization. I'm also looking at the new runes to see if any of them can provide a significant boost to the build, whether it's for more damage, better defense, or improved utility. On top of all that, I will also be upgrading the rest of the gear as well, so the build can comfortably handle tier 16 maps and whatever else the endgame decides to throw at us. Overall, in the next update, I plan to provide a proper budget version of the build alongside a much more detailed explanation of how everything works and why certain choices are being made. But all of that is going to take some time, as there's still a lot of endgame content that I want to explore and plenty of testing need to be done. So until then, if you're curious about how the build is progressing, come watch me live on Twitch or join our Discord server to stay updated on its development. Now, I can cover every single detail in such a short video, so I always make sure to create a detailed mobilitics guide to help you progress smoothly. So do check it out, as it goes into much more depth and even includes a .build file that you definitely want to use. If you like these type of off-meta trash builds, make sure to complete all the formalities by liking, subscribing, and even punching that notification bell. As always, thanks for watching Exile.